Becca, what are your friendship groups like?
So at uni, my friendship groups, I have a friendship group in my course, and then I've got the ones in my halls. And in the halls, I feel like at the beginning of the year, everyone was friends with everyone, because everyone just wanted to be friends, everyone was new, everyone was friends, it was just amazing. And I remember my friends telling me, it's not going to be like that forever, like you'll live the year, or like in a couple of years, like, you know, you won't be as close. And I was like, we're all so close, it's all good. And not that anyone's fallen out or anything, but like people do find their own groups within them, and I see a lot of people less now. And now I've got like my smaller group of friends that I love. I've got 2 girlfriends in my flat that I met straight away. I was so lucky with meeting them, and we're still friends with other people throughout the halls, but it's less crazy, and people are less keen to just always go out, you know, and be friends and always be on it. So, you know, you do find your real friends later on in the year, I think.
It's only until recently where one of my friends was going through a tough time that I realized we're actually all really close to the point that if one of us was going through something, we could be like, are you okay? And I think especially amongst men, it's quite difficult to do that. I think I have 5 male friends that I could be like, look, I'm depressed, or something like that, or I'm feeling really bad. And I think it's rare to have that, because a lot of guys just don't talk about how they feel, I don't think.
I've got to agree with the survey, which finds that people can find the most support in their friends rather than like university mental health support, because I definitely recognise it's there and it's something I've used before. But honestly, although my university has a lot of that support, it's not as good as I was hoping it would be, considering how much money you spend. I was hoping that like the counselling offered to me is 1 session, like a couple sessions per term, but like from sixth form I had a session per week, which I found really useful, and I expected that at university. So that was quite a change, I suppose. Not really a shock, but a change definitely. But I found it really useful in having the friendship that I could go to. I could go to my friends for support, and it's more of a comfortable environment, because I suppose it's down to maturity. Like, we're all older now. Like, I didn't have that sort of relationship at sixth form or secondary school, but I definitely have it here. It's okay to talk about mental health now. I mean, maybe it's just my generation who just feel more open about talking about it, which helps with the maturity that it's just something we can deal with together.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting topic of discussion about university mental health services, because at the end of the day, universities are they're universities, they're research facilities, they're educational facilities. They're not your GP. And I get totally that universities do have to support their students, but I think there's a lot in the press about how terrible universities are at not supporting their students, when actually there is a lot of support out there, and it's just getting people to access that support. And the problem is probably wider than universities. It's the NHS, it's the facilities that the NHS have, and the politics behind all of that we don't have time to get into now. But I think there is the counselling service. I've accessed that, and when I did, it was I barely had to wait at all. There was not a long waiting list, and I think sometimes people can over pathologize their issues, and actually you can chat to a friend about your day-to-day struggles, and feeling anxious, feeling depressed does not mean that you have anxiety or that you have depression. Feeling that way is just part of life. I think people forget that it's the cringy thing, it's okay not to be okay. It's completely normal to have bad things in your life and then to feel sad for short periods of time. But I think first port of call for general day-to-day problems that most students face should be your friends, rather than over-pathologizing your problems and thinking that you need to go on medication straight away or things like that. I know it's a very touchy subject, but I just think that people should utilize the support network they have.
I like that. I agree with that, because I think there's kind of an expectation of university to have thousands of people, but have as much support and systems as a school. And I think it's quite a daunting task to be able to look after that many people's mental health and make sure that they're all okay. Because ultimately, in its purest form, like you said, university is just an education place and a place of research and stuff like that. So you could almost be like, should they? I mean, it's fair enough if they don't want to have mental health support, but obviously it's they need to have that, because there's so many people who are going through so many things. and it's an impossible task for them.
Yeah, one of my best friends from home, he suffers from depression and he comes to me a lot. So I help him a lot. I've had to call his mum when he's been on like one of his breakdowns and stuff. So I've been there for him. So I've seen like it from his aspect. And I think one thing he says to me that I still need to learn is that he's so open with me about his feelings and how he is, and like that's how he gets through it. He'll just vent to me and tell me everything. But I'm very closed off as a person. I don't speak about my feelings, and I feel like that is something that people do need to do. You need to be able to speak to a friend, and if not a friend, then find someone from uni or something, or from somewhere, because I think speaking it through is important, and just having someone to listen to you and see someone else's point of view, because sometimes your problems can seem so terrible in your head, but you can speak it out and someone can rearrange it for you and be like, it's not that bad, you will be okay. So I think it is good to speak it through with friends, especially.
The main society that I joined in my first year was the course society. So we had a psychology society, and they put on during I think the first week they had a meet-up, and then they took people on campus tours, and then you were buddied up with your psychology parents who were people in the second year or the third year. And that was just really nice, because not only did you get to meet someone who was the year above you, who's just been through the experience and can help you with your course worries, you also got to meet people in your year. And that's how I made the majority of my friends through that society. And I think if I hadn't had that, then when you're in a lecture theatre with 200 people, you don't really talk while the lecture's going on, because obviously the lecturer's talking. So I think having that society to provide social opportunities, and some of those were nights out, some of those were movie nights and things like that. That was a really good way to make friends.
Yeah, I think every time I join a society, I make a new group of friends, probably because it's just people you would have never met before. And I think probably my favorite society is wine society, and it's a wine society. It's this ridiculous thing where you essentially pay £5 every time you go, and everyone just drinks wine and just has chats in suits and stuff like that. And it sounds really formal, but it's just not. And one of my friends from school is the one who got me involved in it. And at first I was like, okay, fine, this is really, really posh and stuff like this. Don't really want to be doing this. But it's actually quite a bit of fun. And because of that, I ended up going on holiday with some of the people that I met from that society. And it's something that I thought was a ridiculous concept, and why would you ever just go to wine society, is now something that has essentially made me have some friends for life.
That's really good. I mean, I never joined any societies. I mean, I'm technically part of the philosophy society, because everyone is when we first joined the course. But because my course is only maybe 30, 40 people big, I was able to make friends quite easily in my lectures, because we were all together. And so you had that sort of social aspect to it. I mean, in terms of do I wish I joined societies? Yeah, definitely. So it's something I'm definitely looking forward to next year, because I can recognise other people who have joined them and made those friends. So it's not like I feel like I've really missed out, but it's just something extra I'm looking forward to hopefully joining next year.
Yeah, and I joined societies in my third year and made a new group of friends, not necessarily as close as the people who I live with, because I don't see them as much. But when I was in the dance society, and when we were doing the dance show, there was all these times when we were sort of sat around rehearsing and waiting for rehearsals, naturally being exposed to more people, you get chatting. So I think it is just like you said, you get, every time you join a new society, you get a new group of people to hang around with, and a new group of friends. And I think having a wide range of people around you is really good.
Yeah, I never joined a society, but it's something I think I probably will do in my second year, look at what they have. But I'm kind of glad in a way that I didn't in my first year, just because I needed the kind of time and space to figure out uni before I got extra friends. Because I've got uni friends, and I've got friends at halls, and I've got friends at work, and I feel like I've got too much
too many friends.
too much time. Because I just feel like it's too much on my, maybe I just can't deal with a lot of things, but I just feel like maybe having a society in my first year wasn't for me anyway, just because I like my time. It would be too much for me. But second year, I think now that I know how to deal with my time and my studying and my social life, then that's definitely something that I would look into, yeah.
But it's definitely a personal thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
And
it's
I think
definitely personal.
The fact there's so many societies means there's something for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wine society.
There's something for everyone.
It really is. And I think it's a lot more common than you think not joining societies in first year, because I think most people tend to do sports societies in first year and get just stuck into that. But in terms of the niche things, like wine society, those things tend to come later on. And I think a lot of people join societies in second year, third year, and beyond and stuff like that. And it's not just in first year, it's definitely later on as well. The thing that I would say that I've noticed in terms of students of our age, and I guess it's quite not a depressing thing, but it's just a factual thing, I guess, is just the increased level of individual anxiety over things like how you dress and everything about your life, because I think it has to do with this whole social media thing and Instagram and stuff like that. And personally, I've kind of fallen out of using social media, but I noticed in my friends that if they begin the night, any night out, by taking photos of themselves and of everyone, and then they essentially obsess over those photos and say, oh, do they look good, whatever, and then if those photos don't look good, they'll go change their clothes so that they can take a photo that looks good, all delaying going out and having fun with your friends. And it's become like, it's like not going out for the sake of having fun, it's going out so you can show people you've gone out.
Yeah, I've had that experience so many times. Like personally, I wouldn't view myself as like a stereotypical student. I kind of see myself as a bit removed from that. And I've been on like nights out with people who you don't see them ever like dancing and having fun with their friends. Like me personally, I don't really care what I look like when I'm like out with my like close group of friends. But you see people who are literally just videoing the whole experience.
Yeah,
and
just
you're
out
like,
for a picture.
like, why? Like, are you actually going to watch this video later and be like, oh, that was really funny? Like, you're just going to put it on your Snapchat story.
What's your
and then-
memory of? The memory of just taking a photo?
Yeah. It's
Exactly.
like you spent your whole night taking photos and not actually enjoying the experience. And I just think it's a bit sad really that people feel the need to like document everything and not like be more in the moment.
Yeah. And what I find interesting as well is when Instagram said that they might get rid of likes.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, we're going to get rid of likes so that not even that you can't like a photo, but that if you like the photo, it just won't show the number. So it'll just
Yeah.
show so-and-so's liked it and then a list of people. And talking to people about this, it just really made me realize that when you put up something on Instagram, let's say just a photo of yourself standing there doing whatever, why are you putting it up?
Yeah.
What actually is the reason? It's something you don't really think about.
It's strange, isn't it? Like
It is.
It's very weird that people put these photos online for like. But yeah, what is the reason?
What
I
is the
just
reason?
don't know.
Yeah.
No idea.
I literally did this the other day. I put up like an end of year post, like end of first year, and like
Yeah.
a range of photos throughout the year. And I'm like, I put it up. I was like, it took me so long to like curate which ones to choose.
And then you're like,
And then I'm like getting the likes. I'm like, oh, how many likes am I gonna get? And then I
Yeah,
think
it
to
gets
myself,
addictive.
Max, why do you care? Why you get so many likes?
And don't get me wrong, I do this as well. So
Yeah,
I'm
like
not
we all
saying-
do it.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm some sort of monk who's managed to stay away from it all, but it's because literally my phone, I've had it for about 2 years and it's becoming so bad that I can't use it for a long period of time. So I'm just not using social media at all. And I spend most of the day just not using my phone. And I just, when I do go back, I just think, what did I used to do on this website? It's just, because we all act like we're not posting it for the likes, but really,
That is all we're doing.
when we get a like, we're like, oh my God.
so candid.
Yeah, and I literally have seen my friend show me his phone and say, oh, look at this, why have they posted that? That's ridiculous. And he's like, I'll still pop it a like though, because I like her. She's a good girl.
Well, I'll like them, so hopefully they like my picture.
Exactly.
Like that kind of thing. Yeah.
Exactly, it's crazy.
It's a bit strange, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
the like for like things and like, oh, if I like their picture, maybe they'll like my next one, you know? And it's like, it's just so strange. Like, what's happened to just friendship and like liking because you actually like it, not because hopefully they'll like mine back, you know?
Yeah, I think that the university system doesn't really cover the student of 2019 really, because what really is the student of 2019? It's quite an impossible task to just ask this institution to just cover every possible outcome of person that can come into this, into it. And I think it's because coming into university, you don't really realize that anyone at any point in their life can come to university. The majority of people are probably 18, straight out of school, maybe a gap year, but you can be any age. There are people on my course who are in the 30s, and there are people who have kids, and who have houses, and it's not necessarily just one demographic. So if you're asking a university to essentially cater to every different types, not even talking about LGBTQ, VAME, and every possible outcome, it's very difficult, and it's something that has been such a rapid change in the last however long, and the universities are essentially trying to play catch up to the changing demographic of student, and it's quite hard.
Yeah, and I think all the widening participation work that is going on needs to come hand in hand with like student inclusion work. And I think that does happen. So I know we have peer mentors, and you're sort of matched up with people who are from similar backgrounds. So if you're a mature student, you can request like a mature student peer mentor, and they can sort of help you to feel like university can be for everyone. And sort of if you have a role model or someone to look up to who is from the same background as you and has succeeded at university, that can be like a big way to improve your university experience. But like you said, they are playing catch up, and it's never going to be perfect. Like not everyone is going to enjoy university, but I guess a way to get around that is to not see the typical university student as being a thing. Like anyone can be a university student, and if you remove the pressure of being a student being a certain way, then there's no mold to fill.
I really agree with that. Like building upon it, I mean, yeah, like you say, universities can't cater to everyone and help everyone through that. So I think it's really important to just encourage more student-to-student support, just making it more aware and more like, because like I only had my boyfriend who I only happened to meet the summer of coming to university, but that was so vital and so useful to me to come to university. So like you say, having peer mentors, I think it's probably the most useful thing that you, as a new student can have in terms of settling in, because they can provide insights which the university just can't, because either A, they can't afford to, or B, they just don't have the experience. Like it's easy for a professional to help you with something, but hearing it from someone going through the same thing as you can just be so much more valuable.
Yeah, I agree with what everyone said basically. It's an impossible task to cater for everyone as one person, because everyone is completely different. But the peer mentor thing, I do like that idea. That is really good. But I think the university system as it is, it's obviously there's always room for improvements in anything, but it's fine. Like there are improvements that could be made or need to be made, but it's not terrible, I don't think.